In the UK, there is a city called Leeds. It is in the north of England. And we have a hellish situation there of a tolerance zone, or a managed zone as they call it. It was decided that because street prostitution was a nuisance for residents, and they also decided that prostitution will never ever be eliminated. Notice they don't say this about anything else, like racism or poverty, but they always say it's about prostitution. So they decided that they would construct a zone around an industrial area. During the hours of 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. every day, men can go into the zone knowing there's an amnesty. They can abuse the women for money. They can get back in their car and go home. Obviously, the zone has just made things worse, not better. The drug dealers are seen on the zone. The pimps are hanging around the zone. The women are close to death through drugs and alcohol and desperation. The local municipality throws hundreds of thousands of pounds cleaning up the zone and maintaining it to ensure that Johns can easily, conveniently and legally rape women for money on that zone. So there's no money for exiting for the women. They're just there, suspended in permanent hell until they die, because that's what usually happens to the women. But weeks after the zone was set up in 2014, a woman called Daria Pionko, a Polish migrant to the UK, was savagely beaten and murdered by a sex buyer on the zone. This zone that keeps the women safe. There were also several rapes reported on the zone. So Tila's report came back and she said it was a resounding success, the zone. She said it was unfortunate about Daria Pionko's murder. It couldn't be perfect. Too right, it couldn't be perfect. But she said it should continue and become permanent. And it did. It became permanent. When it was first set up in 2014, this zone was named a safe zone. But clearly, after the murder of Daria Pionko and the rapes of several women, which women who've left the zone tell me is a daily occurrence, the name was changed to the managed zone. Now, it's quite unbelievable that you can see disaster in front of you and still declare it a success in a so-called evaluation report. These pro-prostitution academics are so blind to the violence and abuse inherent to prostitution that they just accept it as a norm and consider that trying to curb the behaviour of Johns, of men who pay for sex, is clearly just not acceptable. They have to come first. Their sexual needs are paramount. And they have this crazy idea that men have unbridled sexual urges that they find impossible to control. It's a deeply regressive attitude about men, and yet they present themselves as so progressive.